back to English class, English grammar class. Today we are going to see degrees of comparison. In a few days before I have put this video. In that video you have learned the basic lessons of degrees of comparison, which are the 3 degrees, and how what are the forms of that degrees, and how can we make that 3 forms of one adjective. How can we make the positive form, comparative form and the superlative form. Okay, so just one revision we will do. What is this degrees of comparison? We can make degrees of these adjectives. Okay, that means when we are using these adjectives in a sentence, it has different forms in different sentences. Clear, students? For example, especially when we are comparing things with others or persons with other persons. So tall, taller, tallest, great, greater, greatest, and small, smaller, smallest, big, bigger, biggest. Okay, like that. So we have learnt the basic. Now we are going to see transformation of these degrees. Okay, SSLC examination 2 marks question, short question. So you have to learn how can we transform these sentences from one degree to other degrees. That lesson today we are going to see. The first one, so for to understand that we will learn 2 models. Okay, 3 models are there. In this class we are going to see 2 models. Okay, so how the questions will come in SSLC examination? It is 2 mark question. 1 degree will be given. We have to transform into the 2 other degrees. Clear, students? So how can we make? So here I have written the first model. This sentence is very familiar to you. All these classes you are seeing the sentences, right? So the sentence is like this: Ashoka is the greatest king in India. Okay, so do you know about this king Ashoka, and Ashoka is the greatest king. Okay, that what is the meaning of this sentence? Meaning it is Ashoka, many kings are in India. Okay, but Ashoka is the greatest one. Like Ashoka, no other kings are there in India. Okay, in all the levels. Okay, in courage or in ruling, to showing kindness to people, Ashoka is the greatest man or greatest king. That's the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so while we are getting one sentence, we should be able to identify this sentence is in which degree. Okay, here you see Ashoka is the greatest. Okay, so always in last video I have told you EST form. How can we make this superlative form of one adjective? We can add ST or EST with that. Okay, so here great is the adjective form, and we are making here greatest. Okay, EST. And one more point before that, which word is there? The Ashoka is the greatest king in India. Okay, so we should be able to identify. So easily we can identify this sentence is in superlative degree. So how can we make into 2 other degrees? Which are the 2 other degrees? One is comparative form, one is positive form. Okay, so now first we are going to change into comparative form. How can we change? This is very important, students. How can we change? Ashoka is, instead of this greatest, we have to write greater than any other king in India. Any other king in India. You see, students, what are the changes happen here? Greatest, comparative form is greater. After comparative form, always we have to use than. So Ashoka is greater than any other king comparing Ashoka with other kings, he is greater than any other king in India. Clear, students? Now we are moving to see this positive degree. Actually, this is comparative form. Comparative degree. Okay. Next is positive form. So how can we write? What is the meaning of a positive form? So what is the positive form of greatest, greater? What is the positive form? Great. Okay. So in positive degree we have to use great. Comparative, greater. Superlative, greatest. So how can we write? We should start with the sentence like this. No other king in India, no other king in India is as great as Ashoka. Okay, so that's the meaning of this sentence. What's the meaning? Like Ashoka, no other king in India. Okay, so how can we start the sentence? No other king in India is as great as greater. Some books you can see so great as, that also correct. Okay, so great as or as great as Ashoka, that also we can write, and in bracket we have to mention this is positive degree. Clear, students? So this is model 1, and one more sentence I will write for you now. Model 1 only. So you should learn this model 1 properly. This is actually in for SSLC examination 2 models. Mainly from that 2 models only questions will come. But we can't say only from this model 1 and 2. That's why I will teach you that the model 3 also. Sometimes 1 mark question also will come. But whenever they are asking this model 1 and 2, anyone they will ask. So 2 mark question. Okay. So another sentence we will write. Model 1 only. Model 1. Question is like this. Stephen, here Nancy. Nancy is the most beautiful girl in the class. Okay. So this sentence, the most beautiful, it is superlative form. Okay. So whenever we are getting the first point, we should check what is the comparative form and the positive form. Most beautiful, what is the comparative form? More beautiful. And positive form, what it is? Beautiful. Okay. So when we are writing into comparative form, we have to keep these points in that sentence. Okay. So how can we start? We should start with here. Nancy is the most beautiful. What is the comparative form of the most beautiful? More beautiful. Okay. More beautiful. Always after this comparative form we should use than. More beautiful than any other girl. Any other girl in the class. Okay, she is the, when we are comparing the beauty of this Nancy, she is the beautiful girl in the class. Like her, no other girl. Okay, they are also beautiful, but she is the most beautiful girl. And so how? This is a comparative form. And how can we write this positive form? No other girls in the class, no other girls in the class is as beauty as Nancy. Okay, one more point you have to keep it in your mind. That's we should check the degree of, tense of the sentence. If it is in the past form, we can't use is. Okay. So according to the tense, we should use is or was or are or were, like that. And this is the form of the model 1. Is it clear, students? So how can we, what are the changes? And don't expect only superlative form question will come for SSLC examination. They may give this positive form. If they are giving positive form, what should we do? We have to write this comparative and a superlative form. If they are giving comparative degree, we should make a positive and a superlative form. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now let's go to model 2. Model 2. Model 2 also very important. Same structure, but little changes will be there in model 2 than this model 1. Okay. So the same question I am going to write. Then it will be easy for you. Okay. Same question. First question what we have written. Ashoka is the greatest. Here, one slight changes I will make. Ashoka is one of the greatest. Ashoka is one of the greatest kings. Okay. Many greatest kings are there in India. Okay. So, Ashoka is one among them. That means if we are comparing, if you are taking some examples of some students, tall students, okay, that means in our class, many tall students will be there, okay, and if you are selecting any one boy, that boy is among one of that tallest boys, clear students. The same way, Ashoka is one of the greatest kings in India. In India, this is the superlative form. See here we can see the greatest. And what is the difference between this model 1 and 2? Structure you have to learn well. Here you should see one of. Okay. If one of structure is coming in superlative form, what are the changes we have to make? See, one of the greatest kings in India. How can we write this comparative form? The same way we will start how we had done for model 1. Ashoka is the greatest. Comparative form is greater than. Greater than. In last model what we had done, we had made greater than any other. Okay. Here it means okay, many greatest kings are there. So how can we write? Ashoka is greater than many. Okay, most or many we can use, not any. Okay. These two terms are very important. After this that, if one of that structure, okay, for model 2, after in comparative form, after that we should use most or many. So how can we write? Ashoka is greater than most other kings. Most other kings in India, or many other kings in India. Okay, meaning you should understand first. That means greatest, many greatest kings are there. Ashoka is greater than that people. And the positive form also very important. Very few kings. So here you see, very few kings in India are as great as. Okay, as great as, what is the meaning? Like Ashoka, some kings are here in India. Okay. India as great as Ashoka. Okay. So in each models, these terms you have to learn well. These structure you have to learn well. Then only we can easily write this to other degrees. Okay. So what next example what we had written in this model 1. Nancy is the most beautiful girl. Okay. So the same sentence we will rewrite. How can we write? Nancy is one of the most beautiful girls in the class. One of the most beautiful girls in the class. How can we see? Here the structure, one of the most beautiful. Okay. So the same way we will start this answer for comparative form. Nancy is greater than. Okay, so here you have other girls. Many other girls in the class. Clear, students? And how can we start this? Positive form. Very few girls in the class. Very few girls. Okay, so how to start? Very few girls in the class are as beautiful as Nancy. Okay, students, have you got this idea how to write it? So this is the form of this model 1 and model 2 in degrees of comparison. Hope you understood this one, and the next class we will see the model 3. Okay, yes, learn well all these things. Okay, this model 1 and 2 is very important. 2 marks easily we can get. Okay, so practice well this one. So questions I will give in worksheet. Okay, students, and worksheet also you have to learn. Okay, practice. Don't ask copy from other answers. Okay, you should practice it well. If you did not get it, call me and ask me. Okay, students, next class we will see. Bye.